Today, FDA approvals for blinatumomab in acute lymphoblastic leukemia and ofatumumab in chronic lymphocytic leukemia, encouraging phase 3 findings with atezolizumab in lung cancer, acceptance of a new drug application for binimetinib in melanoma, and a European approval for crizotinib in lung cancer. Welcome to Enclave News Network. I'm Gina Columbus. The FDA has granted an accelerated approval to blinatumomab for the treatment of pediatric and adolescent patients with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The indication is specifically for those with Philadelphia chromosome-negative, relapsed or refractory precursor B-cell disease. The decision is based on results from the single-arm Phase 1-2 trial known as Study 205, which met its primary Phase 2 endpoint of complete remission within the first 2 cycles of blinatumomab. Treatment has been completed in all 93 patients, and long-term efficacy is now being assessed. Complete findings have not yet been presented. Preliminary data for 39 patients from the Phase 2 portion of the trial showed a complete response rate of 31%. In this group, 42% of patients were minimum residual disease negative, while the median relapse-free survival and overall survival was 5.6 and 4.3 months, respectively. In chronic lymphocytic leukemia, the FDA has approved ofatumumab in combination with fludarabine and cyclophosphamide as a treatment for patients with relapsed CLL. The approval is based on results from the Phase 3 Complement 2 study, in which there was an improvement in progression-free survival with the addition of ofatumumab. In the open-label trial, the median PFS with ofatumumab added to the 2-drug regimen was 28.9 months versus 18.8 months without ofatumumab. The overall response rate with the triplet was 84% versus 68% in the control arm, with complete response rates of 27% versus 7%, respectively. The median overall survival with ofatumumab was 56.4 months versus 45.8 months with chemotherapy alone. However, this was not deemed statistically significant. Phase 3 results showed that the immunotherapy agent atezolizumab has demonstrated an improvement over docetaxel in patients with advanced non-small cell lung cancer who have failed platinum-based chemotherapy. The OAK trial findings demonstrated that there was a survival benefit observed regardless of PD-L1 status. Genentech, the company manufacturing atezolizumab, stated that the safety profile was consistent with previously reported adverse event data for the agent. Full findings will likely be presented at a meeting later this year. In April 2016, the FDA granted atezolizumab a priority review for the treatment of patients with locally advanced or metastatic NSCLC who express PD-L1 and have progressed after a platinum-containing regimen. Under the priority review program, the FDA must issue a final decision on the approval by October 19, 2016. In melanoma, the FDA has assigned a standard review designation to a new drug application for binimetinib as a treatment for patients with NRAS mutant advanced disease. However, while accepting the application, the FDA also advised binimetinib's manufacturer, Array BioPharma, of plans to call an ODAC meeting. This part of the review process will discuss the agent's risks and benefits for patients. The date of the ODAC meeting has not yet been scheduled. The application is based on findings from the Phase 3 NEMO study, which randomized patients to receive binimetinib or dacarbazine. The median progression-free survival with binimetinib was 2.8 months versus 1.5 months for dacarbazine, while the median overall survival was 11.0 months with binimetinib and 10.1 months with dacarbazine. The PFS benefit represents a 38% reduction in the risk of progression or death. The overall response rate was 15% with binimetinib versus 7% for dacarbazine. The FDA is scheduled to make a decision on the NDA by June 30, 2017, under the Prescription Drug User Fee Act. In global news, crizotinib has been approved by the European Commission as a treatment for patients with advanced ROS1-positive non-small cell lung cancer. The decision is based on an improvement in objective response rate from a single-arm Phase 1 50-patient study. In the trial, crizotinib demonstrated an overall response rate of 66%, a median duration of response of 17.6 months, and a median time to first response of 7.9 weeks. The median duration of response by independent review was 18.3 months. At the time of the analysis, 64% of patients were still responding to therapy. Additionally, the median progression-free survival with crizotinib was 19.2 months and the 12-month OS rate was 85%. The median OS had not been reached. The EC approval also follows a positive recommendation from the Committee for Medicinal Products for Human Use. That's all for today. Thank you for watching Enclave News Network. I'm Gina Columbus.